is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are in the Tesla Cybertruck Foundation Series, another vehicle from my friends over at Monza Exotics. I'll link them in the description of this video. If you're in Southern California looking to rent any luxury exotic car, go hit them up. They'll take care of you. They've got a beautiful fleet of exotics that they're always adding to, including this Cybertruck that you can rent today. Now jumping right into the video, the Cybertruck's powered by Tesla's dual motor system, producing 600 horsepower, and putting that power to all four wheels will get you from 0 to 60 in about 3.9 seconds with a range of 340 miles, a curb weight of 6,900 pounds, an 11,000 pound towing capacity, and a starting price right over $82,000. This being the Foundation Series, it was the initial Cybertruck offered by Tesla. You can now opt for the upgraded Cyberbeast model, which will get you the tri-motor system, putting out 845 horsepower and a 0 to 60 time of 2.6 seconds for the starting price of $102,000. Now with that said, the $82,000 MSRP of the Foundation Series and the $102,000 MSRP of the Cyberbeast were the numbers associated with the purchase price at the time of launch a few months ago. Now, if you take a look on Tesla's website, you'll see the Foundation Series with a starting price of just a hair under $100,000, and the Cyberbeast at right under $120,000, which is a big jump from a few months back. And to add on to that, it's rumored that we'll see a cheaper single motor rear-wheel drive version of the Cybertruck sometime next year for around $62,000, but I won't be surprised if that number follows suit and increases just as the others have. Now back to the Foundation Series, which we are in today. Again, you're looking at the dual motor all-wheel drive system with an output of 600 horsepower and, as stated by Tesla, 7,435 pound-feet of torque. Yes, you heard that right, 7,435 pound-feet of torque. Although the caveat is that the insane number is because of gearing it uses to transfer torque to the wheels, also known as reduction gearing. In simple terms, that means a big gear is meshed with a smaller gear that has less teeth, and that has a multiplying effect on the torque. Now this is definitely very gimmicky of Tesla to present it in this fashion, because if you were to calculate the torque of the Cybertruck the way any other manufacturer would, the Foundation Series has around 525 pound-feet of torque when listed like everyone else does. For comparison, it's a bit like saying the horsepower number at the crank versus at the wheels. Now moving on to the design of the Cybertruck, as you can see here, this one is wrapped in a gloss black, although many of you probably know that underneath it, the only factory finish available on these is stainless steel, so the whole body is actually stainless steel on this. And another cool thing to note is that they're actually bulletproof panels. While it's not rated by the NIJ and it's not an armored vehicle, they can stop up to 9mm rounds, and these are extremely tough, so you do not have to worry about denting it, getting any dings in it in the parking lot, which is pretty cool. The only other thing to note is that, while these are shatter resistant, very, very strong pieces of glass, they are not bulletproof. So while you could stop up to a 9mm round on the doors, not so much with the window. So it's not an armored car. I wouldn't want to test that with my life, but just another neat thing to note about those stainless steel panels that are very, very durable. And it seems we're seeing more and more Cybertruck owners actually wrap their vehicles. Number of reasons. One, to kind of just maintain the nice finish of the stainless steel, because as you can imagine, like any appliance or stainless steel refrigerator, they do mark up pretty easily with fingerprints, scratches, and all that. So putting a wrap on it gives it a little extra layer of protection and prolongs the life of it. Now the side profile of this thing is just crazy. It's like a monolithic triangle or pyramid. There's literally no curves on this truck anywhere other than the wheels. I mean, even down to the arches here, everything's very rigid. You got the mirrors, which kind of mimic the triangular design of the truck on the side there. There's really not a single rounded curved area on this truck, and some spots are actually so sharp that you could really cut yourself if you tried, or you snipped the edge there. Yeah, so that's one thing to watch out for, a lot of these pointy edges on this truck. Definitely wouldn't want to get hit by this thing, even slow moving. As you can see here, it'd probably pop through you without too much effort. And taking a closer look at those rigid arches here, we'll see on either side of the front arches, you've got that built-in blind spot monitoring camera, which will display on the infotainment when you're changing lanes, just to give you a little extra visual on cars next to you that you might not catch in the mirror. And then on the back here, we've got the charge port. Pop open and reveal this kind of cool little Cybertruck side profile logo in there, and that's your charge port location on the back. getting a closer look at those 20-inch wheels. If you saw the pre-production vehicle, you may be wondering why the covers are missing from all the Cybertrucks on the road, and that's due to the fact that they were recalled because they were impacting the sidewall of the tires. So Tesla will be shipping them out to the owners at a later date once that's worked out on the engineering side. Another cool thing to note about the Cybertruck is the adjustable air suspension that can be raised or lowered on the fly up to 25 miles an hour and provides up to 17 inches of ground clearance, which is pretty impressive, along with 35-degree approach and 28-degree departure angles, making it pretty capable off-road. Another thing that you probably picked up on is the lack of badging on the Cybertrucks. You don't have any Tesla logos, anything like that, other than on the Foundation Series here. Obviously, we can't see it because this one's wrapped. You've got a very, very subtle badging on the back that says Foundation Series right there, along with on the sides of the front by the wheel arches. Very minimal, subtle, but other than that, there's no kind of logos, Tesla badging, anything like that on the truck. Something else to make note of the size of the Cybertruck, it looks really big, although it's not crazy given the size of modern pickups. It is smaller than an F-150. This is 19 feet long, so it's a large vehicle, but in terms of pickup trucks, which this is, it's not that bad. And coming to the front of the vehicle, we see that absolutely massive front windscreen, which goes up the entire front angle of the car to the back there, along with that huge mono wiper. Side mounted for a few reasons. One, it increases range. Two, really keeps up the aesthetic without breaking up the sleek design of the truck, as well as stays out of the driver's line of sight. So all around, pretty good use of the space and location for that massive wiper, which is, I don't think I've ever seen a wiper this size on a car, maybe a semi-truck or something. But you do have to consider how big it needs to be for this massive front windshield. We've also got that huge front light bar, which runs the entire length of the front of the vehicle. Below it, your real headlights here, beneath, right above the bumper, and those tow hooks right there. That top one serves more as the daytime running lights and keeps up the cool aesthetic of the truck. But your real headlights that are gonna help you see at night are the ones tucked beneath here, very discreetly, which I think is cool. Hardly even notice them. Now we've got that front trunk here, not too much space. It's actually a little bit of an awkward angle, but you can fit a suitcase up there, some groceries, anything like that. And the one thing to note, you may have seen in a few other videos, is that, and I don't know if the update's been done yet, but as far as I'm concerned, this does not have a sensor, so this will close on your fingers, and as you can see, very sharp angle, not something you want to get your hands caught in. And the closing mechanism here, tap that, or you can do it from the inside of the car and see what happens here. Just kidding, not actually doing that, but yeah, as far as I'm concerned, it will close on your fingers and does not have the sensor, but that will be available in an over-the-air update, because I'm assuming Tesla's had a few incidents where people have, I don't know if they've cut their fingers off, but definitely gotten them trapped in there, which does not look fun. Going ahead and moving to the back of the truck here, we will open up this 6 by 4 foot bed with 121 cubic feet of space and a capacity of up to 2,500 pounds, which you can carry in the back here, along with that tonneau cover that we just opened up there, which when it's closed actually adds 10% range to the vehicle. Pretty cool feature. Most people drive with it closed just for that increased range, but one thing to note is that when it is shut, you can't see out that rear window, so you just have to rely on the rear cam here, which is displayed on the infotainment when you're driving, since the actual rear view mirror is not going to do anything since that's closed. But if you want, you can drive with it open if you don't mind that reduction of the 10% range. And opening that tailgate here with that button, which you could also do from the inside of the car. Nice amount of room in the back there, and then obviously even more extended if you have longer items to keep in the back. And it is pretty low, it's reasonable, easily hop up on that, step right up into it. Pretty capable bed. And then in the side here, we've also got this panel with lots of different outlets, which is neat, as well as your cargo tie down area here on the sides. And then another cool feature, kind of hard to tell right now, but this line that runs along there is all lighting for the bed, which is a neat addition. And going ahead and hopping down from the bed here, another cool thing, one of my favorite things actually in the back of this truck, is this additional space you have. Pop that, which you can also open when the tonneau covers close there. Just extra space. And the cool thing to note is that there's actually a drainage plug in here, so if you want to toss in some ice, something like that, put drinks or some food in there, keep it cool, and have it underneath the other cargo in the truck. Now your only real downside to this bed is due to the crazy angles on this truck. Unlike a traditional truck bed, you're not going to be able to really just reach in as you would. As you can see, the space is not there to do so. So for any items you need further back there, you're going to have to jump up in it. And the funny thing is that there is no electronic close for the tailgate. It is super light and it does have soft close, but you got to manually shut it there. As you can see there, let it soft close, just like that. And then to shut the tonneau cover, you just hit the button here, or you can do it from the inside on the infotainment panel, and that will close that up. And that just about covers the exterior of the Cybertruck. Now to head inside, as you can see here, the key, you could say, I got on my phone here, which I'm not a big fan of, unlocks it there, and then the door handles, you just tap that button, pops the door, open that up, and you've got the inside. You don't have to use the app to access it as any other Tesla. I don't have the key card with me right now, which I think is kind of corny that they stuck with that. It's literally like a credit card is the key for this. Kind of a missed opportunity, especially when you're spending between 80 and 120 grand on one of these. Kind of cheesy that you don't have a cool key. I mean, they could have made some kind of sweet stainless steel triangle key that mimics the design of the truck, similar to the Koenigsegg keys, which are really cool. I don't know, just something that I think they missed the opportunity on when making a unique vehicle like this. And stepping into the driver's seat, on the door sill here, we have this really cool Cybertruck logo in that weld font that looks awesome there. Getting behind the wheel, first thing you'll notice is just how minimalistic this truck is, much like all the other Teslas, although they kind of take it up a notch. And shutting that door. Nothing on the left over here apart from your window controls, which are kind of in an awkward spot. They're pretty far back, but it still works. And then you have your door release button to open the door, along with this, which is your emergency manual release. For whatever reason, if there's no power to the car or that button breaks, you can pull that up and release the door in a traditional manner. And to the left of the seat, like most other vehicles, you've got your seat controls there. Onto the steering wheel, very cool wheel, reminiscent of the yoke that was in the Model S Plaid. A little bit more practical though, as it does have that top portion there. And yeah, just very neat, sleek steering wheel. Also mimics the rigid design of the rest of the truck. And as you can see there, we got the Cybertruck logo in the center of the steering wheel, which is a nice little touch as well. And while we're on this very angular steering wheel, something important to note, very cool thing about this truck is the steer-by-wire system with variable steering ratio and four-wheel steering, which is pretty neat how it works by making low-speed turning more responsive while softening the ratio at highway speeds. And as a result of the drive-by-wire system, there's no hand-over-hand turning at all in tighter low-speed environments like you would traditionally encounter. And we'll demonstrate that, just how minimal the input is right now. Super tight, you can really see the rear wheels turning, and half a turn is full lock in this car, which is pretty wild. You see low speed here, how tight that turn is, and your full lock is half a turn there, which is pretty cool. This 19-foot truck, not a big space here to be able to pull these circular turns in here. Great turning radius given the size of it, and the fact that this drive-by-wire system allows you to do so with turning the wheel 90 degrees. Something else to make note of on the steering wheel here is that there is no stalks on the column whatsoever. All your controls are on the wheel itself for your turn signals and your wipers, cruise control, everything like that. And moving on, the angles of this truck, you know, everything from the aggressive panels to even the cup holders here, you can see follow that real angular, rigid design of the truck. Kind of reminds me, it's reminiscent of the way the Huracan has that hexagonal theme where everything in that car is a hexagon. Kind of similar to that. If you haven't seen that in the last video, I'll link that here to go check out, but very similar design elements that have those little nods. And another thing you might have noticed on the dash up here, there is no vents at all. They're hidden behind here. They work very well. AC is great in this car, but nice sleek design, so no visible AC, climate vents there. And if we go to the right side passenger here, you can see that little Foundation Series badging there. I'm not sure if the camera's really picking it up, but yeah, just that real subtle nods. Now above us here, we've got these sun visors. I honestly like driving with them deployed out like this unless the sun's in your face, because it really opens up that windscreen, and they're not in the way on the sides here. So it's got that, feels like you're in a helicopter or an aircraft with that ridiculous front windshield size, and not having those in the way. Although if the sun is in your face, very nice to have those there. And then to the right, we've got our rear view mirror, which is only functional when you have the tonneau cover open, as we could do right here actually. But once you open that up, you can see through the back. Otherwise, you're relying on the rear view cam that is on your infotainment. And then above that, we've got the emergency drive gear selection here, which I don't know, camera's not really picking it up, but that will illuminate if for whatever reason the infotainment fails and you're not able to select your gears from there. You could do so up here on this column. Above it, we've got this little light here that you can tap to activate on or off. And then the only real standalone button in this car is your hazards. That's regulatory for that to be its own separate button. So they decided to put it up there instead of anywhere down here. Definitely more streamlined and not as noticeable. Now onto the control center of the car, we've got this 18.5-inch infotainment touchscreen, which controls literally every single function, from your drive mode selection, gear selection, climate control, glove box, front trunk, rear tonneau, mirror controls, everything as you can imagine. Since there's no buttons, it's all done through the infotainment here, as long as this long list, which I think's honestly a little bit of a cluttered design, but I guess it's all you have to work with when there's no other buttons in the car. All your controls here, mode selection, all that. Another cool little feature is the Easter egg they have in here, where you can tap the side here and it'll crack the glass, as it did in the reveal of the Cybertruck a few years back. And for your glove box access, in order to open that up, you're going to tap that, open it, and it's more of a little drawer than a traditional glove box, but it is cool. There's a little bit of room in there, you can fit some stuff, not too much, and then you can either slide that back shut or use the button to close it again. And then in the middle of our center console here, this pretty nice spacious compartment. And there are still some things that are not available that will be in the future with over-the-air updates, which is kind of unfortunate if you bought one of these and paid all that money. Certain things you want to have access to. It looks like there's still no full autopilot. Pretty good timing though. It looks like they just released the feature for the locking differentials, which that wasn't available for the longest time. That was another over-the-air update. And they're slowly rolling out more and more things in terms of that autopilot, self-drive, the differential locks, and then there will also be some additional air suspension adjustments that'll become available in the future with their over-the-air updates. And then for your controls, here we also have the ride height adjustment, which it's on low right now. You can go ahead and raise that to high, which it does very quickly actually. Can't see too much from the inside, but we'll insert some exterior clips here for a better view of it. Yeah, but there's that very quick on-the-fly adjustment for your ride heights between low and high, which can be done up to 25 miles an hour, which is very nice too, for the different modes, off-road drive modes for the car. And once you put the vehicle into the off-road drive mode, there's actually additional height options where you can go from high to very high, which is that 17 inches of clearance. And then there's also the extract mode if you were to get stuck in some sand or hairy terrain. Another thing to note is that all your mirror controls as well as steering wheel are done from the infotainment, where you can unfold the mirrors and then adjust both the side mirrors and the wheel from the infotainment here, and you'll do so with the wheel if you need to change the settings for the mirrors or the distance of the steering wheel. And lastly, all the entertainment options, from music to different apps and stuff. You can even pull up a browser here, which is pretty neat. So whatever you want to pull up on there. And now that pretty much covers the front of the car, so we'll go ahead, hop out, check out the back. And as you can see, this front window here has this wild cut to it. Really matches the whole design of the truck. And then opening the back here, something pretty sweet to note is that this rear door pivots to 90 degrees. So very, very easy entry and exit into the back seat there, in which you have a good amount of room for the sloped roof, which in other cars you'd think you'd have to sacrifice a decent amount of headroom, but this is pretty comfortable. I mean, your head is close to it. The top of the bill of my hat is touching right now, but for the aggressive design of this, there's a very, very fair amount of headroom. And in the back here, we also have that 9.4-inch display, which is cool for all your climate and entertainment controls, from Netflix to YouTube. Very easy to use. The software is pretty nice. There's a little tiny bit of a lag, but I mean, that's expected for the most part. Pretty nice touch in the back. It would be kind of cool if this were removable, but it is what it is. And due to how minimalistic this truck is, there's not much to cover in the back seat, so that is just about it. One more thing though, hopping out here, nice touch just for some extra cargo space and room. These seats do fully lift up there, so there's plenty of space to throw some extra stuff in the back. And I really think there's an impressive amount of room in this truck between the front, the bed, and the back here. There's not much that you couldn't fit in this and really utilize all the space and make it a practical pickup truck. I mean, this truck just looks like some kind of Promethean artifact left by an alien race. Love it, hate it. As ugly as it is pretty cool, and it is hard to ignore. One more thing to note is the drive selection in the Cybertruck. It's actually this little slider here, which to go forward, you slide it forward, reverse, slide it back, and then you hold that P there to put the car in park. All right, now that we've gone over the Cybertruck, both inside and out, let's do the fun part. Let's go for a drive. And this thing is quite the head turner. People just stare at this truck. As you can see on here, that side blind spot monitoring camera comes into play when you use the signals there. And then also we've got the rear view on the screen because with the tonneau cover closed, can't see out the back at all. And this thing really does not feel like a 3.5 ton vehicle. So smooth, so quick, as expected with any electric car. And again, that drive-by-wire system is pretty cool because it dampens it like crazy at higher speeds, so it's not nearly as sensitive versus low-speed maneuvering, as you saw back there when we were doing the little 360 turns in that small cul-de-sac versus when you're on a highway, not nearly as responsive, which is very nice. And it takes a little bit getting used to, but it's not a big learning curve. It's not like after 10 minutes, you're pretty acquainted with how the car drives. And we got, let's see, 46% charge, so 146 miles. Also makes much more sense having this kind of yoke style steering wheel with the drive-by-wire system, given that, oh, and another Cybertruck. Already seeing more and more of them. As I was saying, makes more sense with this yoke style wheel because unlike the Model S, for example, that didn't have the drive-by-wire, you'd be hand over hand turning with a yoke, which is a pain. But with this, your full lock is 90 degrees, so you do not have to worry about that. You literally, there's no time where you ever have to take your hands off the wheel in this truck, which is pretty neat. Yeah, this thing gets lots of attention. People either love it or they hate it. Something else that's super nice about this truck is that there's very little pitch or roll, unlike most pickups. You know, when you go into a corner, a lot of body roll, as well as when you step on it and take off. Although this, very tight, very stiff, so you don't have any of that as you would normally get with a traditional truck. The ride quality of this thing is pretty awesome. It's smooth, but it's not too smooth. It's not on the level of a luxury car where you still kind of feel like it's a truck, but it rides like a very nice truck. And not much wind noise at all, which is kind of surprising for the drastic, aggressive shape of the car. Get a little bit of wind noise, but mainly tire noise, and that's about it. And we'll go ahead and open up that tonneau there so you can get a little example on the road. It's open now. Now, it would be very cool if that rear window divider went down, kind of like a 4Runner, or in my last video, the way the Huracan's window goes down in the Spider. That'd be kind of cool, getting more of an open air experience in the cabin. And then the only thing you're really sacrificing with having that open is the 10% range increase you would normally have, but not the end of the world. And yet another Cybertruck. That's 2 in about 10 minutes, maybe less. Catch up to him. I'm actually pretty impressed with the handling of this. It drives much better than I thought it would, given the size and weight of it. And the fact that it's a Tesla, because if I'm being honest, all the past Teslas I've been behind the wheel of just drove like trash, but this actually feels decent behind the wheel. So don't mind that rear view mirror on here. It's nice because it's kind of at eye level for a quick, easy glance. I believe the numbers are on the superchargers. You'll regain 130 miles of range, I believe, in 15 minutes, I want to say. Not too bad for a nearly 7,000 pound pickup. And even this being the just 600 horsepower version, it's still plenty fast for a truck. I'm sure the Cyber Beast version with 845 horses is an absolute blast, but this certainly gets the job done, no question. So many cops out today. Yeah, I'm overall pretty impressed with the handling and the stiffness of this car. Feels really good, especially on these all-terrain tires. Not bad at all. And there's no doubt it's ugly, but it's unique. You know, it's quick, maneuverable, audacious. For sure the most striking thing on the road right now. And at the moment, I know they're only available in North America. I don't know if it's going to stay that way. I wouldn't be surprised if it does, but for the time being, you can only get these Cybertrucks in North America. And this drive-by-wire system is pretty cool once you adapt to it. That is 60. I mean, can't complain for a truck of this size and weight. It moves. No other pickup moves like this. Even the Raptor R, TRX, just can't compare the two because it's just not fair with the EV. All right, we're gonna come to a stop here and launch it. And she moves pretty fast. You get to that 112 mile an hour top speed pretty quick, so not a crazy top end on this car or any EV really, but that acceleration speaks for itself. Coming down here, we'll show you just how tight that U-turn capability is. Watch this, no hands off the wheel. Turn it to full lock, and boom. Pretty cool. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of our Cybertruck POV review and drive. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. And again, I want to give a big shout out to Monza Exotics. Go hit them up if you're in SoCal looking to rent any luxury or exotic car, and they'll take care of you. Once again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.